Miranda Detailing, where we make satisfying detailing videos. So today's video is a big one. So our customer has this black Corvette Grand Sport and he wants the works on it. So this is going to be one of our biggest jobs. Full paint correction, all the coatings applied. We're using the Gyeon Synchro kit, so that's 3 layers. It is wheels off, so we're removing the wheels on this Corvette and we are cleaning, decontaminating, and coating each wheel. All of the paint is going to get coated, the glass is going to get coated, all of the trim, and then the full interior treatment as well. So the leather is going to be treated with Gyeon leather shield. Really, we're using mostly Gyeon products on this vehicle, with the exception of the plastic exterior trim, which we're using G-Technic C4. The only thing that we're really not going to worry too much about is the carpet. So it's black interior carpet and the mats, and they're really in great condition. So they'll be cleaned, but no need to spray any type of carpet protection on them. So we are basically just going to protect all of the leather and plastic interior components with the Gyeon coating products. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and clicking that bell. That way you get notifications each time our videos drop each week and you don't miss stuff. And if you're interested in any of the tools and products that we use, then check out the page that we have on our website dedicated to tools and products. So if you're interested in something that we use, then you can go onto that page, check out all the large pictures that we have of the products, and then you can click on them and they direct you right to Amazon so that you can purchase those products easily. And if you're interested in any of the apparel that we have, t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs, then again, click on that link and you will see at the top t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs that you can wear or you can give to family or friends. So definitely check out those products. Enjoy this video. We'll see you at the end.
this time.
Okay, so the Corvette is washed, decontaminated, and dried and blown dry. And looking at the paint, yeah, it definitely has some marring, some swirls, definitely some defects that need to be compounded and polished out. It had some pretty heavy contaminants. So this is going to be our full paint correction and the works on coatings. It is all black, straight black, jet black wheels, and the red calipers that really stand out. And we are going to be coating it with the Mohs Synchro Kit. So 2 layers of Mohs, 1 layer of skin. We're using C4, G-Technic C4 on the trim. There's really not a lot of it. This little bit here, I think there's, yeah, this is also black textured. It's just like a finer texture. So there's really not a lot of plastic trim on here. A little bit here, and the cowl. So we'll hit the cowl as well. And then we have Gyeon rim for the wheels. And yeah, that'll be the full gamut of coatings for the exterior, and we still have the Gyeon leather shield coming in. So we'll be treating the interior leather as well. So this will receive pretty much just a basic interior. It doesn't need much, but it's going to be cleaned. The leather is going to be deep cleaned, and then we're going to treat it with the Gyeon leather shield, as well as all the other plastics and leather components in here. We will protect with the leather shield as well. So a little before and after, just doing some testing. These panels are so curvy, it's hard to catch the light. That's after. That's before. That's after. That's before. So still needs a little bit of refining, but that's after just the compounding stage to get the initial heavier defects out. Nice. So that's what we're shooting for. There's still these little guys here. I'm gonna go a couple more steps to try to get those out, but for the rest of it, just needs some refining. And it's looking great. we are coming along on the Corvette. The paint is very forgiving, which is really nice. I was kind of worried that it was going to be either too hard or too soft, but all I'm using to correct it is Lake Country Orange Pad and D300. This stuff is so underrated. It is a really good product. It's cheap, it cuts really well. It doesn't cut like heavier compounds, but it finishes really well. So if I need to get a little bit more cut, I'll use more, but this is yielding really good results. So the paint wasn't extremely trashed, but it did have some heavy swirls, and it just needs to be refined. So for the refining, I'm going to be using Gyeon primer, because it is a finishing polish and primer base for the Gyeon coatings. This works really well. I already used it on another Corvette Z06, and it takes care of any minor flaws, any little marring like it is here. This is just from, you know, just from the cutting stage, the little marry. But here's what the rest of the paint looks like. So, you know, it's got wash marring and swirls, some heavier defects here and there. That's just from the drying process. I washed it and decontaminated it last night and blow dried it and towel dried it, but you know, I miss stuff, so that's just from drips of water. And this is just towel marks, but you can see the paint underneath. It's not really horrible. It does have a lot of pitting and road rash, so that's not going to come out. That kind of messes the finish, unfortunately, but there's nothing I can do with that. It's on the hood as well and throughout the vehicle. So that's the condition of the paint. That's what it looked like. And then you have the, like a nice dark charcoal metallic accent pieces. So you have the little spoiler in the back here. And I believe the bottom pieces, yeah, the bottom half here is the metallic, while the top is just straight black. And also the little pieces in here are metallic. Now the wheels, I'm planning on jacking this up and taking the wheels off. I just had to order some ramps because this thing is super low. So I think it's 4 inches or so. So the ramps are gonna jack it up another couple of inches so I can put my jack underneath it and remove each wheel. So I don't have a ton of space in here, but I'm gonna remove each wheel, clean it, prep it, and coat it with Gyeon rim. And the accent pieces here also are that black metallic. Here's the roof. Some of that is just dust, some of it is pitting. But here, the fender is done, just needs to be refined, but the fender, front passenger side, and the whole hood, and again, the pitting, it just takes away from the finish, unfortunately. The swirls are gone, but that pitting just kind of ruins things, unfortunately. But can't do anything about that. So there's some stray, deeper scratches here that I've already compounded this section multiple times. And I'm not going to go any further because I don't have a paint depth gauge for plastic. So it's only for metal, magnetic and non-magnetic metal. So I can't really do any readings on this. So that's why I'm being very careful. So the front end here is not done yet. So this is what it looked like before. And I just went up to the edge here. So I'm going to do the bumper separately. Again, it just needs to be refined. but some of the other areas around here I'm going to go back and hit a few more times. But I'm being very careful because I have to. Don't want to compromise anything. It's just towel marks. And just needs to be refined and polished out a bit, and it's going to look beautiful. Tons of pitting. Yeah, lots of pitting. So I've already used the Synchro kit before. Really nice product. So easy to use. The only downside is multiple layers. If you have the time to do that and you have a customer who really wants to pay for it, they can bring it to you, or if you can go to them if their garage warrants it. The multi-layer system is kind of a pain in the butt, but the results are pretty amazing, and they say you can get 2 to 3 years depending on if your car is garaged, which this will be garaged. It's kind of a garage queen. So you can easily get 3 years out of it with proper maintenance. So I was working around the vehicle and I had to put my gloves on because, you know, the heavy compounding and use of the machine will vibrate your hands, and that's not good. So I actually got this idea and the gloves, the type of gloves, from Jim White from White Details. He's like the master of polishing. He's got a beautiful setup. He has extensive experience and knowledge and just does an incredible job on vehicles. If you're watching, Jim, thanks for all of the videos that you do, and especially putting forth all the effort and the work to make the videos too. It's definitely been an inspiration for me, and I'm sure a lot of other detailers to try to get to your level. Now, some of us can't really get to that level just because of the facility that we're in. You know, this is my garage at my home, and I just don't have the type of facility that you know, guys like him do. But we do our best with what we have, and our vehicles really do come out great. So it just takes time and effort to be able to get into all those little areas, to all those finer points and details on the vehicle to make sure that the vehicle looks amazing, it's polished, it's protected, and the customer is happy. Number one, making sure the customer is happy. So I picked up these gloves from Amazon. If you want links to them, I'll have them down below. But they're kind of like a gel impact glove, and they are anti-vibration, so they really help with polishing. So I just did the whole front section without it, and I can feel my hands kind of buzzing. So I put these on to reduce that, and you can feel the difference. At the end of the day, your hands are not kind of vibrating and buzzing the rest of the night, especially if you're spending a day or two compounding and polishing. So awesome idea to have anti-vibration gloves like these. Now, I also like to use my headlight or my headlamp. This thing is super bright. I actually just got it at Walmart. I think it's just an Ozark Trail LED, and it has 2 levels, and then it has the little red LEDs, but it's really bright and it does a great job. This is what I use for all my correction jobs. I even use it when I'm putting on the coating, sometimes on interior jobs, and it does a great job at lighting up the surface. It's angled like this, and I mean, it's pretty cheap too. It wasn't that expensive at all, and I've had it for a few years now. So as you can tell, it's super bright. So this is also great to have when you're compounding or polishing panels, to make sure that you're getting all the little bits around the area. Sometimes a stray swirl or area can get missed, and this helps reduce that. So this is my filth bucket. This is what I use to blow all of the pads, microfiber and the foam, and I do the Jim White method where I spray down the sides with just water and you blow your pad in here and this collects all the dust and brings it to the bottom. So I mean, it gets 80 to 90% of the dust. Some of it still flings up a little bit and gets in the air, you know, and gets on the panels. But this is just the cutting stage, so you really don't need to do that for polishing as much. Sometimes you do, depending on the product that you're using, but usually you don't have to do that. So this collects all that. So this is just from the front end and the top of the vehicle. Just all the, you know, residue from the pad. You can tell it's D300 because it's, you know, like pinkish red. And yeah, it's a great way to clean your pads and keep the dust level down as well. Alright, so this is before. I haven't touched this yet, but I just did the driver's side rear roof quarter panel, whatever you want to call it. I guess technically this is the quarter panel, this is part of the trunk. Yeah, so that was just cut. I just had to cut this entire area with the 3-inch polisher because of the curvaceousness of the back end of this thing. So, I mean, I have one light source here, and you can see how curvy it is. It's hitting on all these different points. So that was just cut. I still need to work around all this area here, and the roof is done. The whole front section is done except for the bumper. I haven't touched the back bumper either. And the side doors here and, you know, the side rear panels, quarter panels also have to be cut. And then we'll either start refining or when my ramps get here, start on these wheels. But the paint is coming out great. So I have my little 3-inch pad here and that's what I need to get around all these areas. And then the bigger Roops 15 5.5-inch pads I can get all around the larger sections. Alright, let's keep on going. Okay, so I popped the trunk and I just taped off that little rubber piece right in there and I closed the trunk back on it so I protect that because I have to put the 3-inch polisher as close to this as possible. So I'll be running over the rubber. Sometimes I run over the rubber and it's okay. It depends on what type of rubber it is. But here I'm going to try to get as close as possible, so I'll be rubbing over it, you know, going over it with the polisher extensively. So it's a good idea. Just pop the trunk and tape that rubber and then close it back on there, and now it's a nice clean protected line. Alright, so this was cut extensively and there's still some deep scratches that just, I don't want to go any further on. That little squiggly mark there, there's another one right over here somewhere, yeah, right there. And of course I still have to go and refine. But yeah, there's another little nick there. Some of these, you know, deeper ones I can't get rid of completely. You don't want to go too far and compromise anything. And I've been cutting pretty heavily with the 3-inch and the microfiber pad. And that can cut pretty extensively. You can see the marring from that. So you don't want to go too far. But once this is refined, I mean, the before and after is pretty awesome.